on 12:10. Oh, sorry for this. So at 12:10, we'll be starting on with the session. So hi everyone, my name is Lavisha Bazandhani. I'm the head HR at DIYguru. I take care of all the trainings and placements of my students at Delhi branch as well as all the other branches of DIY. So this session is kept with Mr. Harshin. He's an expert with over 10 years plus experience into EV industry. So we'll be discussing a lot of things here. It would be just an introduction round for 10 minutes first. Then Mr. Harshan would be continuing the session, and last 30 minutes would be provided for Q&A. You may ask your questions, you may talk to my team, you may talk to Mr. Harshan, and you may discuss whatsoever you want to. So this was about me. I want to know about you as well. So please drop in the chat box from where you are. Are you a currently ever student or you are from new, and from where did you get this link? These three things I want to know. Please drop in the chat box so quickly we can start with the session. Okay, Pradeep is from Pune. Ankit is my student. I know Ankit very well. And myself, Mrinal. Hi, Mrinal. First, I want to know from where are you guys joining so that at least we can plan a meetup as well there. Shillong, okay. Hyderabad, nice. Riva MP. Oh, even I am from MP. I'm from Indore. President PLP, great. Siliguri, yes. I know I'm from Delhi. September batch, great. Great, Arshad. Shift from Mumbai. First time attend. Okay, Nashik, very nice. NIT Agartala, great. Sikkim, nice, beautiful place. Guys, drop your name fast. Okay. So, please has Mr. Harshan joined the session?
Hey Lavisha, hi. Hi guys.
Hi, Harshan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Th- Thanks for joining. Thanks for taking out time on Sunday morning as well.
Yeah, but yeah, it's quite interesting. It's always really interesting to interact with the student community. I guess it's quite mixed seeing from the chat box over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yep, I guess we're going to talk about something which is not quite common. It's not something that we discuss quite often, especially in the EV circles. Most of the, I guess, the webinars are always about how do you develop the product, how do you test the product, how do you validate, and so on. So, I hope it is going to be something different of the standard process that you have. So looking forward to all the interactions over here.
That is great. We are grateful to host you here. Okay, so we may go with English and both the languages so that everyone understands it. If anyone has a doubt, you can drop in the chat box or else you may wait for the Q&A session. That would be in last 30 minutes. Okay, so hand over to you now, Hassan. You may please continue. Thank you.
Yeah. तो आप लोगों में से किसको हिंदी कंफर्टेबल लगता है या और यू वांट मी टू डू इट इन इंग्लिश आई एम फाइन विद बोथ you could put it in the chat box. Okay, English. All right, I guess we have people from both the south of India as well as the north of India, yeah? Cool. ठीक है. I will try doing both. Yeah, of course, Shiv Prasad. English is the way to go. ठीक है. I'll try my best. कहीं पे भी you have any doubts, जहाँ पे भी आप लोग को doubts रहेंगे, please keep it to yourselves. जब ये session खत्म हो जाएगा, end में हम लोग ये सारे doubts clear कर सकते हैं. Okay? So just give me 2 minutes and I will share my screen. Right? Great, great, Saurabh. Okay, guys, I hope you are able to see my screen right now.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes,
All
it's
right,
super.
cool. Sure. Let me just jump into my deck. Just to give a brief introduction, I am Harshin Lalpet. I've been in the EV industry, associated with the automotive industry for over 10 years now. So these are just a collage of images of all the projects that I've worked in. I graduated from SRM University. Back at the university, we were really into the Formula student space. तो हम लोग ये रेस कार्स बनाते थे जो आप ये लेफ्ट बॉटम कॉर्नर में देख रहे हैं. We won the national championships twice, which was held at Buddha International Circuit in Noida. और आगे आगे I went and worked with Mahindra and Mahindra. I was handling the dealerships for Mahindra for over 2 years. Bangalore dealerships for commercial vehicles. And then I started off with my entrepreneurial journey. और मैं अपने फर्स्ट बिजनेस को स्टार्ट किया था which was into electric bicycles. And we started developing a lot of electric bicycles based in India. And उस टाइम पे हम लोगों ने बहुत सारे different products बनाए थे like modular footwear. We were also working on a quadricycle project. And before starting all EV, I started another company which was incubated at IIT Hyderabad. It was called Persist Energy. उसमें हम लोग electric scooters बनाते थे, which was focused for business applications. So this is my brief introduction. So let me jump into what we do at All EV. So as you could see, our tagline for all your EV needs at your doorstep. All EV का मकसद, what the purpose of all EV is to help businesses transition to cleaner technologies. That is through electric vehicles, and that is what all EV does. And आगे जाके जब when we are going to discuss what we are covering, you will also understand what all EV is also into. Okay. So let me just jump directly into what we are going to discuss today. That is integrating post-sale service solutions to boost EV adoption. So हम लोग काफी बार ऐसे बात करते हैं और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का भी ये बहुत बार मकसद रहा है कि ईवी अडॉप्शन कैसे ड्राइव करे. लाइक कैन एनीबडी टेल मी what is the penetration of EVs in the Indian market today? I suppose I cannot see the chat. Okay. Can anybody take a guess? What is the penetration of
So I guess 5 to 10%.
5 to 10%? Okay. All right. It's somewhere around 6 to 7% for electric two-wheelers. When you combine everything together, it'll become somewhere around 5 to 6%. That's right. If you consider electric two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, commercial vehicles, and so on and so forth. Okay. So अब electric vehicles market में आके how many years has it been? Guys, okay, before I go ahead, मैं बस ये कहना चाहता हूँ, अगर आप लोग को कोई लैंग्वेज का इशू है या अंडरस्टैंडिंग, इफ यू आर फाइंडिंग इट डिफिकल्ट, प्लीज पुट इट फॉरवर्ड, क्योंकि ये सेशन इंटरैक्टिव रहने वाला है. अगर आप लोग मेरे साथ डिस्कशन नहीं करोगे तो मैं प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं दे पाऊंगा, बिकॉज माय प्रेजेंटेशन इज नॉट लाइक प्रेजेंटेशन पर से. It is more like a discussion. Agar aap log, if you guys are not going to interact, then we will be stuck over here. So this is just to let you know that I am seeking answers from your end as well. Don't think that I am an EV expert. मेरे को सब कुछ मालूम है. That is the most foolish thing to say. So I am looking forward for your views as well. तो आप लोग को जो inputs देना है वो भी दीजिए. Otherwise, we will not be able to, go forward. Okay, I hope everybody is in line with it. Is everybody fine with it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. क्योंकि अभी तक I guess अंकित ही कुछ respond कर रहे थे, तो I want all of you guys, आपको जो भी लगा, ये डोंट ऐसा मत सोचो कि आप जो कह रहे हैं वो सही है या गलत है. ओके, डोंट थिंक दैट व्हाटएवर यू गोना पुट फॉरवर्ड इज राइट और रॉन्ग. जस्ट गिव मी व्हाट योर व्यूज आर. ओके, वी आर गोइंग टू हैव इट एज एन इंटरैक्टिव सेशन. प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्व्स एंड गिव द इनपुट्स. अगर आप लोग नए इनपुट दोगे तो ये सेशन आगे बढ़ नहीं पाएगा. ऑलराइट. ओके. यस विश्वदीप, डू यू हैव अ डाउट?
Yes, sir. What you want exactly? It means the penetration, sir.
हाँ. So penetration का so when I say penetration, it is like how many number of EVs are sold versus the number of ICE engined vehicles that are sold in the market. ठीक है. So if you take the denominator as the number of vehicles sold in the market, the numerator would be the number of EVs sold in the market. That is basically penetration. कि market में टोटली कितने सारी गाड़ियां बिक गई हैं और उसमें से परसेंटेज EVs का कितना है. I hope it is clear to you, Vishwadeep.
Yes. Yes. Got it clear.
All right. Okay. Chalo. Let us go on to our deck again. So I will come down to our next slide. I hope this is visible to you clearly.
Yes.
Okay. Chalo bhai. So simple question first. Why should you use an electric vehicle? आप लोग काफी you have been into the EV space. You have been doing DIYguru's program. You have been reading about electric vehicles. हम लोग को electric vehicles क्यों use करना चाहिए?
कार्बन emissions को कम करने के लिए और फ्यूल पे डिपेंडेंसी हम अपनी कम कर सकते हैं.
Okay, so
To eliminate carbon footprint.
so reduce carbon emissions. और sorry, last किसी ने कुछ बोला था?
Hello.
हाँ, reduce fuel dependency. Okay. और
डिपेंडेंसी
Better efficient than LPG.
reduce on other current
एक एक करके हाँ. I am getting confused here. Last one क्या?
Cost
We
efficiency.
have to reduce.
Greenhouse gases.
Okay, that is
other
okay.
country dependency.
हाँ, reduce
It's
fuel
more
dependency.
efficient than ICE
Or
engines.
more efficient, yes. More efficient. Okay. और
Low cost travel, sir.
yes, please go ahead.
Noise
Please go
free.
ahead.
Low operating costs.
आप अगर कुछ बोल रहे हैं तो अपना माइक अनम्यूट कर लीजिए. इफ यू आर नॉट स्पीकिंग देन प्लीज म्यूट योरसेल्फ. हाँ, और क्या हो सकता है?
Low cost travel.
Low cost travel. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Great. और कुछ EVs और क्यों यूज करना चाहिए?
low maintenance cost,
कार्बन एमिशन आ चुका है. और कुछ?
आई थिंक सर ईवी में बहुत कम कंपोनेंट्स यूज होते हैं. आईसी इंजन में 1400 कंपोनेंट्स लगते
ओके, तो मैं ऐसा कह सकता हूँ कि लो सर्विसेबिलिटी हो सकता
हैं
है.
अगर हम यूज कर रहे हैं. और ईवी में
हाँ, so less
Yes.
number of parts, less components. So less number of parts, less maintenance
maintenance
cost.
costs.
Yeah, debatable, but ठीक है. Okay, let us put that down. Less maintenance cost.
zero emission at tailpipe,
Zero emission at tailpipe. Okay. Okay.
So basically, I thought the fuel is nowadays the stock of the fuel. It means it is going to lagging. So to overcome this issue, we have to use the EV because we can produce the electricity and everyone can easily it means available the electricity and with on the battery, the vehicle can move.
Yeah. So we could also say that we could have decentralized what do you say, operations. Because wherever there is a petrol bunk, only there EVs petrol vehicles can run. So in the case of EVs, you could run it anywhere, right?
Yes, sir. It can also be, I think, integrated with our home electrical systems.
Exactly. So wherever you have electricity production, there we can have EVs running, right? Okay, this is good. This is interesting. So I guess you all have been using EVs, and that is kind of. So how many of you guys have been using EVs on a daily basis or regularly? Come back to this. Noise. Oh, that's a very valid point. No noise pollution. Great. So how many of you have been using EVs? Nobody is using an EV, is it? Oh, you okay. You got all guys. Pawan, Vikram, Saurabh, Vishwanath. All right. So after using EVs, just any of you, आप लोग को what did you feel after moving to EV from an ICE engine vehicle? Anybody?
Pick up
Just
this
the
very
issue of
fast.
range anxiety.
Sorry?
Just the issue of range anxiety.
You have range anxiety. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say, let me say, range anxiety is the reason why you should not use an EV.
No,
Okay.
that is my fear only about the EVs.
Okay. So I'll just mark it as I'll mark it in red. This is the reason why you should not
Okay.
use EV, right?
All right, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Service
Anybody?
center come and service your service.
Service. Good. Somebody took this point. So anyways, coming to it. Service network.
Then charging stations unavailability.
less charging infrastructure.
Okay. So charging infrastructure is another problem.
More battery cost.
Well, in support to the charging infrastructure, most probably what happens, even if you suppose if you're planning a trip from A to B and you decided that this is the point where I would charge my EV, but to the surprise, when you reach there, that uh, station is not operational. So
Right.
though it is pseudo infrastructure that is in front of you, and you're not really sure whether it will serve you on time or not. So that is
So
also a major issue.
these are operational issues. You don't know
Operation.
whether you reach there, whether the charging station is working or not, and even if
Yeah.
you reach there, whether the charging station is available for usage or not. Right.
Yes. 40%. My experience is that 30 to 40% of time I'll be turned down only because something is wrong. The server may be down or something is
What
wrong with
vehicle
that
do you use?
Tata Nexon EV 3.0.
Okay. Yeah. So all these slow and fast charger, the DC 001 networks and all, these are a bit of a hassle, right? Okay.
Yes.
Cool. This is something that quite informational. Good that I'm. Right. So there are.
Cost
So
of
we
the
could say,
battery is more.
sorry, the battery is.
Yeah, cost of the battery is more than other components.
Yes. So expensive batteries, may I write?
Yes.
So
So most probably I can see that the main the key thing that we are discussing here is why should you use electric vehicle, and right now we are talking about its demerits and problems that we face.
yeah. I mean,
But
that is the reason why I marked it in red for
okay,
those of you who didn't relate it.
yeah.
It's like,
But to one thing I would still, though I face issues largely with the charging infrastructure. Apart from that, the very key point that I feel about EV is that it is way more simplified, maintenance free,
right.
and second most thing is when it comes to battery and anxiety related with range and all.
Mhm.
So most probably whenever somebody purchase an EV, it is not the case that they will hold it for a year or so. Most probably at least for 5 years they will hold. So if you see with the extent with which inventions are happening in the battery technology, solid state batteries are getting on the way, and most probably uh, there is this carbon based graphene something called as graphene based batteries would be there, which is right now into the research. So most probably within a 2 to 3 years, if we manage to get a higher density batteries, then replacing those batteries with the existing battery pack won't be that much hassle. It would definitely cost, but for sure it will, what will happen once we replace the cell with the higher density, all of a sudden your range will increase, maybe twice or maybe thrice the time what right now it is. So it is like you're having a watch, and you're just replacing the cell in order to get higher range or maybe higher time.
Right.
So that is something which is definitely a plus point as compared to the traditional fuel IC engines and all.
Yeah. So definitely, Vikram, you gave a very valid point. But there are some statutory, regulatory issues as well as some operational issues. We will discuss about it further going on.
Yeah.
Because for certain class of vehicles, it is feasible from an OEM standpoint, and for certain vehicles, it is just a customer choice and the risk they are willing to take. Okay. Right. So let us. So my whole point was to get an understanding of where you are at in terms of your preference to move to electric vehicles. I see that you guys prefer at a ratio of, let's say, 60 is to 40. Like 60% you would want to move to electric vehicles. 40%. These are all the demerits. We have used vehicles. Blah blah blah. Right. Okay. So let me just come to the next point. Like how Vikram you exactly pointed out कि अगर कोई गाड़ी खरीदेगा तो ऐसा नहीं है कि 1-2 साल के लिए खरीद रहा है, right? So you are going to use a vehicle for at least 5 years, right?
Yes.
And even the government of India has mandated, like even in the case of petrol vehicles or diesel vehicles, like how many of you are from the NCR region? Like You cannot drive a diesel vehicle more than 10 years or a petrol vehicle for more than 15 years, right? So when you are expecting to use an electric vehicle, it should last at least 5 years. Correct. So
Yes.
what is an EV life cycle? When I say what is an EV life cycle, ये क्या होता है? Anybody wants to take a shot at this?
So the
Most
operating
probably,
years before we need.
Yeah, Ankit, go ahead.
Equal to battery life.
Yes. Yes.
As in the battery life is the life cycle of the vehicle.
Most probably.
Okay.
So the operational years until when it doesn't work properly anymore.
Okay. Okay. So operational years, fine. Okay, Ankit. Anybody else? Guys,
sir, as per government norms, so which government decide, like for IC engine vehicle, it is decided like 15 years, and for diesel engine it is 10 years. So maybe in future government decided whether it will be 15 years or 10 years.
So you're
See.
saying the life of a EV starts from the time it is sold into the market.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else? यार 4-5 लोग की बात कर रहे हैं, बाकी लोग क्या हो गया? What are the others doing? I just hope that you didn't have your lunch and your napping good now. Anybody else?
Yeah, hi, this is Abhay. I just
Hi,
want to
Abhay.
ask a question let's consider if we take IC engine, normally the vehicle age is around 15 years, right?
Okay.
So is there any age defined in EV industry also, like for EV vehicles?
Well, it depends on what do you say? It depends on what the testing or the validation of the vehicle has it been done. You know, because all these vehicles, there are two ways of looking at it. One is they're tested under controlled conditions, and one is they are tested in real-time conditions. So real-time data and controlled environment data are always different. So controlled environment data always gives you a higher life. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So okay, chalo. I'll just go to the next slide where it will make a lot of sense as to what I'm just trying to tell.
So I want to share my opinion on
Yeah,
the
sure.
life of the battery. It means the EV vehicle. Sir, as considering to the EV, it is we can say for the peoples, it is a new EV vehicle. Due to this, the research and developments are going on. So on the basis of that, the life of the EV is until and unless it is not defined completely, because as we know, the IC engine vehicles, there is having the much more revolutions. So on the basis of that, they have decided their life of vehicles. But on the EV, no one, which means no one is firm to say the EV having a 10 years of life or 15 years of life. So that is the thing, because it is in development phase, na sir. So whatever the heart of the EV, it is a battery. Okay. So battery technology, it is not completely developed yet.
Okay.
So due to this, the life of the EV is we are considering right now it's a 5 year only.
Okay.
Am I right, sir?
Well, to an extent, you're right, because what is happening is, Vishwadeep, what you did mention, that you're limiting the life of a vehicle to its battery pack. But in reality, if you see, every 5 years, the cost of cell or the cell chemistries is falling down. It's going down. It's going cheaper. So by logic, that means that tomorrow, after 5 years, if you want to replace your battery pack, it shouldn't be as expensive, right?
Okay, okay.
Exactly.
But sir, if we considering to the IC engine, so
Yeah.
if suppose some of the fault is occurring in the engine, so this is the heart of the vehicle. So as is a regular practice. So if the engine is open, so no one is getting the surety the vehicle will give you the long life. So that is also happening in the IC engine also, no sir? Because
Correct.
once you open
Exactly.
your
Like,
engine,
periodically, after a certain point of time, you have to overhaul your engine also. Yes. Sorry, please go
that
ahead.
is the main thing. Yeah, sir. That is the main thing. So I'm
Yes.
considering to the AC engine. If your engine once your engine is open, so it means you are not confident on your vehicle. So this vehicle is giving me the life, long life or short life, because this is totally depends on the conditions how you handle your vehicle or how
Correct.
you operate your vehicle. So
Correct.
in the EV, no one is as we all are telling that there is a no service stations. For battery, no one is getting surety. Na? If once the battery is having the cells is having issues, so if we replace the cell also, if there is a probability to change the cells. Okay, so if we change the cells, but we are not assured that cells is giving the long life.
Correct.
That is also the case, no sir?
Yeah. See, exactly. The point here is that what we are about to discuss is the role of service in helping EV adoption. Like even in IC engine vehicles, एक बार engine overhaul होने के बाद भी आप exactly how you mentioned, once your engine is popped open, you don't know how long the engine will last. So basically, there is a process gap even at the service center level. Like you never
Yes,
know,
sir, yes.
you never know that the engine that was overhauled, was it overhauled as per the process prescribed by the OEM? कि आपने torque जो torque setting the torque settings at which the bolts have to be tightened, or the conditions, the environments, or the the atmospheric pressure, or the whether it is a clean environment where the engine is being overhauled. Because when you go, you look at the assembly assembly line, and even if you look at the engine assembly line, they're done in very clean environments. So you do not have the same setup in the service center. So that is where you think that once the engine is opened, it will not come back to its original state or will give the same performance as earlier. So
Correct, sir, correct.
that is something that is what you also need to look at. How do you make service center infrastructure and the process in line with the manufacturing unit? So have you ever been to a Toyota service center?
No, sir.
Right. So if you go to a good Toyota service center, they actually function like their assembly line and like their manufacturing unit. They have all their process. Japanese people, they're really crazy about the process adherence. So why can't this be replicated in the service experience or the after sales experience, right? So these are long term processes. It'll take time, but then again, that is a topic for another day. I'll just quickly jump back to the vehicle life cycle. Okay. I hope I got your query cleared over there. We will jump directly into this and then go ahead. Right. So vehicle life cycle does not start from the point where the vehicle sales happen. Okay. The vehicle life cycle actually starts from the conceptualization. So basically, जब एक OEM, when a OEM is planning to deploy a vehicle into the market, they go around, talk to their dealerships, talk to their networks, talk to their end customers, and understand what kind of a vehicle would they prefer. And that is how the conceptualization, the vehicle development, the testing and validation, and then it comes to the manufacturing. Okay. And then it goes to the distribution, sales, operation of the vehicle, maintenance, overhaul, and the recycling happens. Okay, so in this whole process, when you look in the EV industry, basically there is one thing called controlled conditions and one thing called the market conditions. Exactly what we were just discussing about. Control conditions में जो भी करते हैं ना, like that is what ARI says. Like if ARI says that this particular vehicle will give 25 kilometers per liter, how much it is actually going to give on the road? It'll give lesser only, na?
So it will always be 20% less.
Exactly. So the same goes with your EV range also. Like it became a big issue with Tata Motors, I guess. There were a couple of consumer court cases also filed against them that they were claiming 400, 420 kilometers. मेरे को mileage आ रहा है 200, 220 kilometers. 50% in EVs. Like what you are saying that 20% in IC engine vehicles and 50% in EVs, a lot of people made it a gimmick. And that is how the whole point of range anxiety came in. Because these things are being controlled, are built under controlled conditions, but the market conditions are different, right? So that is the reason why when you look, it takes about 5 years to develop these kind of vehicles, and to run these vehicles in the market, it takes about 5 years. That's the essential life of the early stage electric vehicles which are launched into the market. Fair enough. I hope you are. I hope everybody is on the same page as we are discussing right now. Please say yes if you are. If you're not, just put your queries forward.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you see, at one point of time, because the EV industry is so new, we don't have close to more than 100, 150 years of the IC engine market data to develop these vehicles. And even in the IC engine space, it takes about 5 years, 5 long years to develop a IC engine vehicle. Of course, we have a lot of platform sharing and all, but still one vehicle, if it has to go to the market, it takes about 5 years. You might be seeing this, right? And this is the same case, same scenario, even with electric vehicles. Okay, like for example, Ather, when they started their development back in 2012, 2014, they were only able to launch their vehicle in the market in 2018. It took about 5 years. Okay, and there are vehicles, so this is 2024 now, and still the Athers which have been launched are still running on the road. Okay, I'm taking Ather's example because it was the earliest EV startups which actually made electric vehicles in India. Okay. So if I take another example, there are different reference scenarios. Why EVs are a game changer compared to an IC engine vehicle. Okay. So if you look at the reference scenario here, the first one, you take the raw material, manufacture it, make it into a electric vehicle, and you consume the electricity from the grid, and then the recycling happens. That is scenario number 1. Now let's say in scenario number 2, basically you are in the whole life cycle of the vehicle, you are depending on sustainable energy. So your electric vehicle usage, so as somebody just mentioned, the tailpipe emission is low. But again, we are depending on coal-based power, right? So when you look at it, when after you move to sustainable energy, even like for example, even in India today, we are shifting more and more towards sustainable energy. More wind farms are being deployed, more solar power based, more rooftop solar plants are being deployed. So it is becoming much more sustainable. Like for example, I have a 4 kilowatt hour power plant at my home. I don't pay a penny for traveling across town. So basically for me, if I buy a EV, mera transportation ekdam free hai, except the service part of it, right? So these are the massive advantages when it comes to EV. Now I will tell you, there is another scenario in the future where you have the refurbished scenario. like somebody was asking, ki replacement of a battery is expensive. Yes, of course. But then you also need to understand, just like how you give your battery pack, abhi, for instance, you have your lead acid battery pack, lead acid battery in your IC engine vehicle. When you go to replace it, you get a rebate कि भैया आप अपना पुराना बैटरी पैक देंगे तो हम लोग 200-300 रुपए वापस आपको देंगे, we'll give you a discount. So same case is the scenario with lithium ion battery packs. So it is all about finding the right use case. For example, in the flowchart that you see, you could use the used electric vehicle battery pack for using for secondary applications. So basically, you could use it for stationary applications, like you want to have you want to store energy from an alternative source of power, like wind farms or solar power generators and all of that. You could use these battery packs as a secondary storage device, or you could always recycle it as in the first use case. So basically, the same battery pack is not limited to usage on the electric vehicle, and that is where you will be able to get more benefit from the same asset. So the scenario where you were thinking ki, "Arey yaar, now this battery pack is costing 60% of the cost that I'm putting in. Tomorrow, if I have to replace this battery pack, even though the battery prices may go lower, I will still have to shell out, let's say, 40% of the vehicle cost." But then if you are able to get an additional usage, let's say if you use the old storage, the old battery pack as a storage unit for an alternate source of energy, or if you recycle it, you will make much more money. So essentially that 40% cost may go down to 20%. So if you see in the long run, whatever money that you are spending for replacement of your engine, or the overhauling of your engine, or the replacement of your oil, all everything mixed together, in the long term, owning an EV is going to be much more cheaper, provided if you have this ecosystem of recycling or reusing, vagera, right? So that is what that is the whole EV life cycle, that is right from manufacturing to usage, to end of the life recycling, and to the raw material re-extraction. So this is where Government of India is putting all its efforts into. A lot of companies are coming forward to make use of all the batteries that have been deployed into the market. Okay, so you either use it for, say, stationary power storage application, or you recycle the battery pack, extract the raw materials, and then reuse it for production of new battery packs. This is what Nitin Gadkari also says, that 100% of all the raw material that has been imported, let's say cells ho gaye, yeah, any kind of materials that have been used for making these battery packs, must be reused within India. Okay, and through this, we will be able to subsidize the cost of the vehicles that are going to be produced tomorrow. Okay, that is where it actually becomes sustainable. That is where EVs make more sense than any future technology like hydrogen or CNG, LPG, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that brings me to the same point. So if you look at the electric vehicle life cycle today, it starts from conceptualization to recycling, and then again back to the same. Will it be the same amount of time? No. So over time, what will happen is, since there are lesser components, since there is shorter development cycles, you will be able to develop a vehicle within 2 years, but that same vehicle will be able to run 8 years. So जो 1:1 ratio था will become 1:4 now. And that is where EVs are much more sensible in the long term. That's the reason why a lot of companies like Tata Motors or Ola Electric are providing 8 years of battery warranty. right? So this is how the scenario has changed from longer development cycles to shorter development cycles and longer life cycle of these vehicles on road. But there is a caveat. There is a caveat that कि ऐसे चीजों का ओपन मार्केट में हम लोग कंट्रोल कैसे कर सकते हैं? हाउ आर वी गोइंग टू कंट्रोल दीज सिस्टम्स इन द ओपन मार्केट, राइट? क्योंकि एक बार गाड़ी गया शोरूम के बाहर, so how many of you actually go back to the showroom to service your vehicles after the free service is over, after the warranty period is over? You would rather want to get it done through a technician or a mechanic who you know is not going to overcharge you, at the same time is going to give you the best service, right? Is it true or not? In the IC engine case, is it true or not?
Yes, sir.
Is it true?
Right, exactly. But would you do the same for EVs?
No, sir. Excuse me.
Yeah.
No, sir.
No, whatever you are saying, that is quite bit okay. But as I am using a car, and I always prefer to get it serviced from the authorized service center, because we have trust on authorized service center. Na? And even after the service, he is responsible if anything happening in your car after the service. But if you do it from the outside or any of your known technician, then he will not be responsible for anything happening in your car after the service. He will just say you that I checked you the car and that time it was okay, so now I'm not responsible for anything, right? It's my personal opinion. Huh?
Agree. I totally agree. See, again, I have worked for Mahindra, and the kind of service center experience, again, from the market inputs that I have got, Mahindra's service experience is comparatively better than Tata, at least what we have seen in the market. And at Tata, there is still a lot of things to be done in terms of the service experience. I hope we are aligned. Like, if you compare the service experience in Suzuki or Toyota and then compare that with Tata, right? So don't you feel that there is a lot of things that Tata could have done better?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So I'm asking the person who said, is it Vishwadeep? I'm sorry, Shailesh, right? You drive Nexon, right?
No, sir. I drive actually Hyundai i10 Neos.
Okay. So you was telling about Nexon EV, right?
No. I'm not. No, you just said that.
You go to a service center. Yes.
Yes.
Fair
That's
enough.
why.
Right. But what is happening right now is, even these service centers, they are not giving any kind of service warranty. That's why a lot of companies like Go Mechanic and all, they have started giving service warranties, right? So get the vehicle serviced within 6 months. If anything happens, we will do it free of cost, no questions asked. Do you get the same kind of service at your dealership? If you get the same kind of dealership, there is no need to change, right? That makes a lot of sense. Correct?
Maybe, sir.
Yes.
I have not tried, but
again,
maybe,
yeah. You could always have your preference for a specific technician or the service center. That is fine. But what we have been seeing in the market is that a lot of people, after the service or the warranty period is over, they prefer going to a service technician or a service center who is able to give a guarantee or a warranty of the service, which is not available with the service centers because they're flooded with a lot of vehicles and their service quality has dropped down. That's the reason why there are a lot of third-party service centers which have come into the play, and they are giving a better service experience. So that's just what we have learned from the market. Okay. So let me just go to the next slide.
Sir,
Yeah.
can I share my thoughts?
Sure.
Service? Okay. So basically, it is experience that from one of my friends. So if you purchase the two-wheeler and after completing the service period, means there is a 3 or 4 services is free is giving by the company. Okay. But after that, some of the service centers are not giving the proper service. It means they are not doing the proper servicing. Just
Right.
they are doing only normal service and hand over to the bike to the customer and said we have done that point, we have done that point. On the basis of that, no one is trust on the service center also. No? That
Yeah.
is also the big issue. No?
True. Exactly. That is what I'm trying to drive the point to. Because what is happening is the service center experience has become so notorious. Like I'll give you an example of one of my friends. He owns an Exxon EV. He sent his vehicle to a Tata Motors service center. The guys didn't do anything and sent the vehicle back. Okay. They
That's the
didn't.
happening, sir, in service center at actual.
Yes. They didn't do anything and they sent the vehicle back. And the guy was like, dude, at least you should have washed the goddamn vehicle, right? ये ठीक है, आप लोगों ने गाड़ी को छुआ नहीं छुआ, दैट इज ओके, बट कस्टमर परसेप्शन क्या है? मैं गाड़ी भेज रहा हूँ सर्विस सेंटर, मेरे को तो साफ सुथरी तो आनी चाहिए. Those people didn't even wash the vehicle. So this is in reality what has been happening. Like whatever might be the reason of the service center, they might be flooded with a lot of service requests, a lot of things and all, but the service quality has dropped. And this is what is happening, and that is the reason why a lot of third party service center brands like Go Mechanic, Go Bike, Bikeco, so on and so forth, they have come into the market and they are disrupting the market. They are saying that whatever we are promising, we will do it. If you are not satisfied with our service, we will refund you the money. Will a traditional service center do that? No, right?
Yes,
No.
yes. Sir. But sir, how we overcome to the issue? Because someone is told earlier, if the company is having the policies, if you are not doing the after completing the service period, it means the after 1 year. So if you are doing the servicing from the other than it means the service center of the company. So is it the right thing?
Yeah, see, sometimes that is where the OEMs make it a clause. So service centers also have a target that essentially what happens is, if you do it within the warranty period, you will be able to get the warranty is void only if you get the vehicle serviced within the service center. Okay, but I'll give you a scenario where how pathetic the service center experience is. And these are some questions that we have to, that is why it is a discussion. Okay, that is where we are trying to find answers. It's just not like मैं कुछ बोलूंगा and आप लोग सुनोगे. It's not that. So the thing is that in a EV service center, we have run a couple of dealerships, and what we have understood is that for a battery pack, if there is a problem with the battery pack and it has to be fixed, it takes about 45 days to 60 days to get the warranty done. Okay, the warranty repair done of the battery pack. Just imagine you have bought a vehicle 6 months down the line, you are waiting 2 months for your battery pack to be fixed. That is the sad reality of EVs. Even if you are an Exxon EV customer, if there is any issue, for resolving that issues, there have been numerous cases where it took about 2 weeks to 3 weeks to resolve. So this is the price that is being paid by early adopters in the EV industry. And this is common even with IC engined vehicles. Although the scale is larger, the industry is matured, and the service times have reduced. But recall is a very common thing even in IC engine markets. The only thing is that since EV is new, that is where the problem is coming. That is where we are talking about how can we make the service experience better, because there are certain cases where companies have taken proactive measures to ensure that the customer's vehicle is being delivered. But that doesn't happen in the B2C scenario. जो बंदा अपना पूरा डाउन पेमेंट करके or whoever is purchasing the vehicle for personal application, the scenario is different for them, and the scenario is different for somebody who has bought 100 vehicles and they have deployed it into the market and they have given it for rentals or leasing and so on and so forth. Because the kind of support these companies are giving to B2B customers is different. That is the reason why, as all EV, what we are talking about, to give you an insight into the industry, how the same product is being addressed differently. Okay. So let me just move to the next part and just tell you. And yeah, so here, so when you speak about EV service, what does EV service involve? Just to understand how complex or what is the complexity in terms of servicing your electric vehicles.
Checking all the components, if they're working, the electrical parts as well as the moving parts.
Okay, so so you would say, we'll say preventive service, preventive maintenance.
Yes.
You're just checking, right? So we'll say preventive maintenance. Anything else, guys? We have discussed a lot about vehicle servicing. I guess this would be where a lot of you guys would be able to give me a lot of inputs.
Yeah, it might be of a BMS check.
Okay, so let's say I will just say battery service overall.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are. You are.
Yeah, Harshin. So what I'm saying is, for EV, majorly when we talk about services, 60-70% of time we are talking about its ECUs and diagnostic related stuff. Because uh, mechanical parts, it is way more simplified as compared to IC engine. So
Right.
service front, changing oil and those stuffs are bare minimum, like
right.
only transmission fluid. That too, if you see the kilometers after which we need to change the transmission is around 35,000 kilometers and all. So
Right.
IC engine is not there. So for every year you need not to change the oil. So with that regards, only wear and tear related parts which will have to repair, that will have to do it when the schedule comes. But apart from that, majority wise, mostly service related stuff would happen around the software, ECUs and their updates, and diagnostic related services, taking diagnostic dumps and improving the firmwares and all those stuff.
Right. So control unit diagnostics, updating firmware.
Yeah.
So anything else? What all would come under EV service or services related to EV, to put it in a much more broader sense? See, again, see, my majority of my experience has been in the EV two-wheeler space, where considerably the number of control units or the systems, the subsystems which are interacting are much lower compared to a four-wheeler. Okay, a two-wheeler, three-wheeler is pretty much similar. So based on that experience is what I'm talking. So just keep in mind, I may not be covering a lot of four-wheeler systems, but in majority of the two-wheeler systems, the control units are not that many, and that's why resolving any issues do not take much of a time. There are other operational issues like the supply chain hurdles and all. So these are some other things. Okay. So
Yeah.
would you any other services would you mention over here? Because see, we are rapidly changing as a market where the economy is moving from a ownership perspective to a service perspective. So a lot of people are not purchasing vehicles. They would rather rent vehicles or hail services whenever it is needed, right? So in that perspective, would you think that there is other services related with EV? Let me just rephrase it. A service related to EV.
So you mean like awareness?
Sorry?
Did you mean things like awareness and those?
Okay, awareness. Let's say we could say if you are consulting somebody about EV, so that could be one service. Anything else? Come on, guys. We discussed about range anxiety and stuff. So
The availability of the service centers is also the main point.
agreed. That is part of EV service. But how would you resolve range anxiety?
By providing charging stations
Exactly.
every
Charging
10
infra
kilometers.
is a service, right?
Yes.
Right. So what we have covered over here is just about EV repair, but there are many other services in this space. When we speak about EV service, it is not related to only fixing a vehicle. So think bigger, think broader. You know, what does BlueSmart do? Would you say BlueSmart provides EV services? Do you guys know about BlueSmart?
Yes.
How many of you know about BlueSmart?
No, sir. No.
Okay.
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat, please?
How many of you know about this startup called BlueSmart?
Yes. I've heard, sir. Actually, it's a rented transport system.
Yeah. So basically, a ride-hailing service.
Sorry, sir.
It's a ride-hailing service, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a ride-hailing service. The only difference between BlueSmart and Ola or Uber is they are only EV. They are only EV ride-hailing services, right? How many of you know about Zip Electric?
Yes, sir. It's a two-wheeler, I think.
Exactly. What do they do?
Same like four-wheeler, na? Like BlueSmart's two-wheeler. And also it is used in delivery the products.
Exactly. So this is basically EV rentals, because
Yes.
BlueSmart is providing ride. So they give a driver, they do pick and drop. EV rentals is different. So in EV rentals, you could rent the bike and ride it on your own, right? So what all services are related to EVs?
So we have the plug share applications also.
Plug share. What does plug
Like,
share do?
where we can find the charging stations near us.
Okay. So again, it is charging infra, right? Charging infra. It's come here.
Regarding
Is
the
that
battery
is the
swapping,
software?
Sorry?
battery swapping.
Battery swapping. Interesting. Yes. Can you name one company which is doing battery swapping?
Not exactly,
Billion.
but I've seen some in videos. They are doing in some cities.
Who's doing it?
So GoGro.
GoGuru. Yes, GoGuru is doing battery swapping. They're the pioneers of battery swapping.
One more
GoGuru
name
Sorry?
one more name, sir, I have remembered, that is, I think, Yume. YUMA.
Yuma.
Yes, Yuma.
So
Actually, it's just near to my region.
interesting thing. Yuma is actually
The Yulu is provided.
correct. Yuma is actually a collaboration between Yulu and Magna International. So Magna manufactures a lot of automotive components. They're a US-based company. So they have collaborated to make battery swapping as a service. Okay. So they do battery swapping only for Yulu vehicles. So you have a lot of other companies, like if you look at battery swapping, you have companies like in Hyderabad, there is this company. Wow, not able to recall at the moment. So yeah, there are quite a couple battery swapping companies. One going by the name Energy. Okay, maybe we'll come back to that. But yes, there are quite some battery swapping companies. Anything else? Any other EV related services?
EV retrofitment.
EV retrofitment. Yes, that is also one service. Yes. EV retrofitment. There is a Bangalore-based startup called Steria Energy. There are a lot of companies. You have GoGo Avon from Mumbai as well. Cool. So let us just move into the next slide where I have listed down the different services. Anyways, the EV service market, what I want to tell over here is that the EV services market is massive. Okay. And there are a lot of opportunities.
Sir,
Yes, please go.
sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Please.
Can we consider the service engineers also?
Yeah, service engineer, they're anyways, the service engineers are what are doing the preventive maintenance, battery service. And again, service engineer depends on the kind of industry that we are speaking about also. So yes, they are also part of the space, right? So the EV related service industry is massive. Okay. Interestingly, EV retrofitment was something that I have not considered in the next list that I'm going to show. But it just goes to show the enormity of this industry. So when you are looking at opportunities in the EV space, it is just not related to in the R&D or the product development or the manufacturing part of it, because when you come to the field, when I say when you come to the field, anything after sales is a massive space which is booming, which has a lot of roles operationally, technically, marketing wise, and so on and so forth. And why I'm saying this is important is because these are different business models which are changing the way the automotive industry is going. Okay, and it's very, very important for you to note all of these, because going forward, this is where the industry is going to grow. Like for a lot of startups which are valued at $1 billion and above in the EV space, majority of them are in the service segment. Okay, so let me just go to the next slide. Oops, let me just show slideshow. Okay, so let's just say that you start from purchasing a vehicle to disposing the vehicle. The first thing which comes forward is EV consultation. So since there are a lot of options in the EV market, consulting which EV to go for is also an opportunity. Next, you have on-road repair. Like for example, when a vehicle, we spoke about distribution of vehicles. So once the vehicle is manufactured and it is shipped to the dealership, if any damage happens on the way, that comes as on-road repair. Okay. Then you have the pre-delivery inspection. Before the sales happens, you do the pre-delivery inspection. And this also is another service that is rendered. Then you have accessories. Now, in the IC industry, every town, every city would have its own accessories market. Like if you go there, you could install your stereos, you could install upholstery, or you could have your seat remade, or you could get some other decals or some modification done to your vehicle. Accessories industry is a massive industry. But for the EV space, it's still in its nascent stage. Essentially, you are having a battery and you could do n number of things with the battery pack. So this, like for example, like how Ola has a speaker on its vehicle, a lot of inquiries came in saying that, can you install a speaker onto my EV? It's a normal EV. Can you do a speaker installation? Or could you install cameras onto my three-wheeler? and so on and so forth. So accessories is another opportunity. Then you have the free service and the paid service, which is quite standard as per the dealership norms. Then another thing is recalls. Like somebody pointed out, diagnostics is a major concern in the market. It takes about 60 to 70% of the issues are recalls. Again, there are different types of recalls. You have red recall, you have orange recall, you have yellow recall. So again, it is classified based on the severity of the problem. Then you have running repair, like for example, your vehicle, your EV meets with an accident and then you have to get it fixed, or some damage has occurred and you have to get it fixed. So that is a running repair. That also accounts for post-warranty repairs and all. Then you have the annual maintenance contract. So a lot of businesses actually, they work with annual maintenance contract. For example, there are businesses like Domino's, they have 40% of their fleet runs on EVs. So they go for an annual maintenance contract that, boss, we're going to pay you this much amount of money. You are going to ensure that the vehicle is running 90% of the time or 95% of the time. And for doing the service, there is so and so amount of turnaround time. Right? Then you have doorstep service. For example, doorstep service has become a very, very common thing nowadays, whether it is pick and drop or we do service of vehicles at the doorstep. So the service engineer, as somebody pointed out, so our service engineer goes to the field, they fix the vehicle and provide the service right in front of the customer's eyes. Somebody was also mentioning, we don't know what service is being done on the vehicle. Sometimes they don't even replace the parts and all. So this is another segment where a lot of companies, what they do, a lot of these third-party service centers, what they do, it's actually a process at the service center where all the parts that they have replaced, they are supposed to give it back to the customer. So when they replace the parts, you actually know that those parts are actually being replaced. So these are the things that when the customer sees right in front of their eyes happening, they feel much more trusted with the brand, and they trust the brand more, and that is how more of these services become much more better. And then you have roadside assistance. Roadside assistance is quite common when you have your bumper-to-bumper insurance, or when you get your insurance done. You have flatbed vehicles to carry your vehicles. You might have seen a lot of times, a lot of these luxury vehicles might be carried on the flatbed vehicles and all. So this is another service area. There's a very popular company called the service. I'm not able to recall. They provide roadside assistance, and people, it's so good that the job they're doing is so good that technicians are able to make close to 40 to 60,000 rupees a month by just doing roadside recovery. Okay, this is real-time data, so this is how they are able to make that amount of money just by recovering vehicles and transporting it to the service centers. So that's something about roadside assistance. Then you have washing and cleaning. I guess this is quite commoditized. You might have seen around in your localities or in your neighborhoods. There are a lot of these washing and service washing setups where they do washing. They might be doing tire alignment, wheel alignment, and they also might be doing your tire replacements and all. So this is also very, very lucrative opportunity. Tire replacement, as I was mentioning, washing, cleaning, tire replacement combined is quite a lucrative opportunity. And then you have battery service, right? So there is something like battery service and battery replacement. So this is one of the most profitable businesses out there, and just by servicing. So for instance, just to give you a scenario, every time a vehicle is serviced, a battery service is done. So when you say a battery service, what exactly is a battery service? So there is something called a charge discharge cycle. So can anybody tell me what a charge discharge cycle is? Any guesses, guys?
Sir, I think charge discharge cycle is how much time it take to discharge when on no load, and how many time it takes to discharge when in on load.
Okay.
Load on load by discharge. No?
Okay. That is
The
one.
number of times it can charge and discharge um, without being damaged.
Okay,
I mean,
that is
before.
basically the cycle life of the whole battery pack. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
Charging it
charge
to
discharge
0
cycle.
to
Sorry. Yeah. Please go ahead.
charging it to 0 to 100% and then discharging it to 100 to 0%.
Perfectly. That is exactly what charge discharge cycle is. Essentially, what happens is these lithium-ion battery packs. So you must have all, understood. Somebody was putting in the chat box SOC and all, right? So algorithms of the BMS work in a way that once in a while you have to discharge it to 0% and then charge it to 100%. Okay, that is when the state of charge algorithm will be functioning perfectly. That is the reason why what happens when your electric vehicle goes for service, they do a 0 to 100% charge and then they discharge it from 100% to 0% and then charge it back. And through this process, what happens is, number one, you are able to set the SOCs at the right parameters. You are able to reset the whole system. Secondly, you will also understand what is the capacity of the battery pack. Okay, so what happens is that you know that the state of health of a battery pack drops as more the vehicle is utilized more and more. So more distance that you cover, the state of health of the battery pack reduces. So with the charge discharge cycle, you will be able to measure what is the state of health of the battery pack. So let's say if the battery pack is rated at 50 Ah, and over a certain usage, the battery pack might go down to 40 Ah. So what do we understand from that? So from 50 Ah to 40 Ah, if it has dropped, what is the state of health of that battery pack? Can anybody calculate and tell me quickly? Anybody? Any guess?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sorry?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah. So if the battery pack original capacity is 50 Ah, okay, and now when you do the charge discharge cycle, you get to know the battery pack capacity is 40 Ah. What is the state of health of that battery pack? There is a 10 Ah which has reduced from 50 Ah.
80%.
80%.
80%.
80.
No, okay, that's not right. Any other guesses? See, from 50 it has dropped to 40. Okay, so 10 Ah has reduced out of 50. So what is 10 out of 50? 20%, na?
That's 20% decrease, right, sir?
Yeah, 20% decrease. So a state of health, like even if you see in your cell phones, mobile phones, or your Apple iPhones and all, you'll be able to see how many, what is the state of health of your battery pack, okay, or your cell, whatever. So essentially what is happening is, if at one point of time it was giving you a certain amount of range, if it has reduced, basically your battery capacity or your state of health has reduced. So in this scenario what we spoke about, the state of health of that particular battery pack is 80%. Okay, so whatever range you were getting before, you are getting 80% of that range. So with this battery service or this charge discharge cycle, you will be able to tell the customer, ki boss, you have used your battery pack this much. How much longer this battery pack will give you this much amount of range? Because somebody did mention about range anxiety. Why do you get the range anxiety? And over usage, over a certain period of usage of the vehicle, your range anxiety will increase. So this is something that if the customer knows, okay, I am using my battery pack so and so, and if I am getting my vehicle service uh, time to time, I will know when will this battery pack conk off, or when will this battery pack would require replacement. Okay. Somebody also said that there is zero maintenance. No, there is no zero maintenance with EVs. Please stand corrected. There is low maintenance with EVs, but EVs also require maintenance. You need to get your EV service at least once in 3 months, because there is shelf life to the battery packs. You, even if you're not using your battery pack, your cells are degrading. Okay, so you need to get your battery pack serviced once in 3 months. There is low maintenance clause, but there is no zero maintenance clause. Please be aware of this, because your battery pack is like a living being. If you're not going to take care of it, it'll have repercussions. Okay, so these are things. So you need to have scheduled maintenance for your electric vehicles. You need to get them serviced at regular intervals of time. Otherwise, it will not give you the best performance. Right? So then you have the motor service and replacement. A lot of times, like in electric two-wheelers, most of the, I would say, 80% of 80 to 90%, I would say, of the vehicles, they run on hub motors. Okay, and a lot of these motors go through a lot of wear and tear. Okay, and these need to be serviced time to time. Even if you are running at low tire inflation pressures, that affects your motors as well. So motor service and replacements may not be as common as battery service and replacement, but nevertheless, this is also an interesting avenue where a lot of motors get serviced time to time. Then you have the controller service and replacement is again connected to the motor service and replacement. Then you have the second life usage. For example, as I was mentioning earlier, you could use the battery packs after, let's say, they have reached to a state of health of around 60 to 70%. You will not be getting the right range on your electric vehicle. That is where you will start using this as battery packs for home inverters, or if you are running businesses, you would be using it for running the inverters at your businesses, right? Then you have recycling. So you reuse the materials used for making the battery packs. Then there is another stack. There is another service layer that I was speaking about, like Zip Electric or Gogoro and so on and so forth, where they're renting the EVs, or batteries are also being rented, and the financing of the EVs. Like there is this company called Alt Mobility, which does financing of EVs and all. This is also so there are a lot of opportunities there as well, because the financier would have to assess the EV's asset value. So based on that, whether the vehicle is going to last for 5 years or 8 years, should we finance that vehicle, and so on and so forth, will be determined. And then you have battery swapping and slow charging, fast charging, and the charging infrastructure. So still, in this list is also not complete, because you have services with regards to, somebody did mention in the previous slide that EV, what was that? EV retrofitment is also a very popular service. So all these things are all these services that could be catered in the after sales market, and it's a humongous opportunity, right from consulting about EVs to disposing the EVs off is a huge opportunity, and that is where all EV comes in to place. So so from all these perspective, now how do you think service would help in vehicle development process? Now that you have seen that majority of the inputs for the usage of the vehicle comes from the service. So how do you think that the vehicle development process could be made better? Inputs?
By taking care of the things that require more services.
So, okay. So do you mean to say we need to standardize process?
No, I mean to say the parts that are requiring more services that can be look into more.
Okay. So consumables, consumables development, right? Anything else?
To gain trust in the customers.
So yeah, how do you so if you have to gain the trust of the customers, and the customer is facing all these issues, how do you reward him then, him or her?
By giving warranties, service warranties.
Okay, but how do you think that will help in vehicle development process? Anybody else?
So it can be used to know what requirements.
Sir, what kind of development you are talking about? Like life cycle or the performance or
like product development, vehicle product development.
in terms of manufacturing?
In terms of design to manufacturing, all the way.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, good morning, sir. My name is Bal Murali. You have to, the vehicle you have to, in time getting a service from the development also. And what is the service is getting IC engines or oil changing. This maintenance are the all the electricals are supply from the battery. You have to battery and maintenance all the motors are you have to belt or all the are servicing from the in time you have to how many kilometers you have to 6,000 5,000 you have to manufacturing you have to giving the vehicle or car or two-wheeler you have to give you a manufacturing that type of you have to go and servicing center you have to all the service are condition of you have to good you have to vehicle you have to good condition vehicle you have to much more mileage you have to claim.
Got it. So basically, we have to time the service schedule. So basically, if the product has to work in a certain condition, you need to get servicing done at the right point of time. But how do you think this service would help in vehicle development process?
So it sees what the demands are in terms of modifications or what requires to be done.
Exactly. So you would be able to forecast demand.
Yes.
So we can make service manuals.
Service manuals, yes. Service manuals also help. Making service manuals. Another critical part is understanding customer needs. Again, forecasting demand is like understand customer pain points. This could be used for developing the features or the essential features of the vehicle, right?
Sir.
Yeah.
Suppose 100 cars have arrived for servicing.
Yeah.
Then the data of the 100 cars which have been serviced, we can find out the which of the part is creating more trouble.
Yes.
And on the basis of the data, we can work on the product development. For example, suppose the electric motor is creating more trouble. in
Right.
all the 100 cars. Then, and what kind of trouble we are facing, right? So on the basis of the data, we can share it to the manufacturer and they can work on it to improve the product.
Exactly. Perfect. So basically using data to optimize product quality or performance. Could I write like that? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Right. So you took the right point. Data is so critical. In fact, if you go through Ather's what do you say, Ather's development process, vehicle development process, what they did was they attached data acquisition systems to their customers' IC engined vehicles, and they collected that data for over 2 years. And using that data, they developed the Ather 450, the Ather 340 and the 450, the twins. Okay, so data is so critical to understand what is the customer looking for, what kind of features would he love the most, what kind of performance he would love the most, what kind of experience he would love the most. So all these things would only be gathered once the vehicle is sold, because not every time, because even after you even in the vehicle development process, whatever the data that you're capturing, you are building a vehicle on a certain assumption that these are the technical requirements, these are the experience requirements, and you build the vehicle. But the input again comes from the customer side, and that's where the after sales service or the service part is so critical. Okay, so let us move on to the next slide. So considering all these things and all that we have discussed, what do you think does the customer want?
Reliability.
Okay, so customer is looking for reliability,
quick service.
Quick service. What else? I hope I'm not boring you guys to death.
No, not at all, sir.
Yeah.
Affordability, quality, and affordability.
Quality, yes, quality, affordability. What else?
Regular standardization checks, like regular maintenance for charging infrastructure.
Standardized maintenance. Let me write it that way.
Better actual range of vehicle.
The long range.
Long range.
Long range of the battery and the charging facility.
Long range of battery.
And charging facility.
Charging infra. Not just any charging infra, functional charging infra, right?
Yeah, fast charging facilities and fast charging facilities.
Fast charging, okay. Fast charging facilities. What else?
And less maintenance. Less maintenance.
Okay, less maintenance. Okay.
Quick response and proper solution.
Okay, that quick service, could I consider it in that? Or
yes,
I would say
not service, sir. I am saying response.
Response. Okay. Let's say
or proper solution.
Got it.
Okay.
So diligent response and correct resolution, accurate resolution. You don't want the problem to recur, right?
Multiple battery swapping stations.
Swapping stations, okay. Let's just consider that as charging or swapping facilities, right? But what do you think, like in terms of the experience? Should the customer, like, do you feel like, because today everything is happening at the doorstep, you order something online, it'll come to you in 10 minutes. Do you think that it makes a lot of sense for your EV to get fixed or within 10 minutes? Is that something that you think is necessary, or it's just a whim?
So what do you mean by that?
Sorry?
What did you mean by that?
I mean, like, for example, if you order anything on Zepto or Instamart, you'll get it within 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Right. So do you think that EV services should be like that? Like, for example, if
Yes,
your EV is not running,
definitely.
your EV is not running, and then you're like, I need to go out. I just need another vehicle, or you just fix my EV in 10 minutes, right? So
Yes, sir.
these
Quick
are
service.
some. Yeah, sorry. Please go ahead.
No, sorry, I meant so it will be like quick service facilities.
Correct, correct, correct. Cool. So customer has a lot of these requirements and wants, but the customer doesn't want to pay. Is it true?
So what about less total cost of ownership?
Less TCO. Okay. Yeah, we could consider that as well. Less TCO. So so if you put yourselves in the shoes of the customer, how much would you be willing to pay? Let's say, so I believe that the customer gets what he pays for, right? So I'll go to the next slide, and then we will talk about it. So this is the present EV experience. Okay, so somebody just burnt down the Ola showroom because they were not able to get their vehicle serviced. A lot of consumer complaints against Hero Electric and so on. And at one end, Bhavish is saying, Bhavish is the CEO, the founder of Ola Electric. He's like, now any mechanic or garage will be able to service your Ola Electric scooter, right? So understanding from this, you're even immaterial if the EV is just a better solution. The whole experience goes for a toss just because your service experience is bad. Even though Ola might give speakers or some different features in the vehicle, if you're not able to run the vehicle, what is the whole freaking point of owning that vehicle, right? So that is where how critical the AV experience is. That is the reason why companies like Tata now how many of you know that Tata has changed the way that they are selling their vehicles? They call it Tata.ev, and they call it an experience center. Either from the
Yes.
beginning, they call it experience center. Why is experience become such a critical part of the EV adoption process? So how do you want your future EV experience to be? Right? You just go crazy. Like we were just discussing about, 10 minutes में service हो जाना. बस.
It's very fluent process. Like no, मतलब झमेला नहीं चाहिए.
Sorry?
A very fluent process.
Sorry, my bad. A very fluid process. Okay.
Without battery, sir. We want without battery EV.
You want without battery. Arey, this is what this is exactly the way you should think. Okay. Fluid process. Why do you want? So okay. Can you please name yourselves? I'm sorry. Without battery.
Sir, Chandra Arora. Chandra Arora.
Chandra. Okay, why do you want without battery?
Because
you
the
want
cost of the battery is so high and maintenance is so high.
Okay, so would you want unlimited range or you don't want battery at all?
Yeah, we don't want battery. We want direct supply, like trains, like electric trains.
Okay, but electric train runs on the
On high power, on high power rails, on high power circuit they run on.
So you want to run on alternate sources of energy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Anybody with some more crazy ideas like that? So you want to run on free energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? How do you want the service experience to be?
And it should be maintenance free. It should be maintenance free. Like without, it can go underwater without, like, no water damage will be there.
Okay. Maintenance free. No water damage. It should be what do you call
high IP standard for water leakages, sir. High IP standard for water leakages, like mobile phones.
It should be indestructible. Okay.
Yeah, like we can dip our iPhone in the water. It's indestructible.
Yeah, but iPhone is also destructible, my friend.
Yeah, but at some depth of water, it is indestructible. Some depth of water.
Yeah.
IP standard, according to IP standard, sir.
Right, fair enough. Anybody else? How do you want your future EV experience to be?
Wireless charging battery.
Wireless charging. Okay, now there's somebody coming with some more sensible. Okay, all right, but everything is fine. Yes, wireless charging. This is interesting. Anything else?
The cost of the EV will be less.
Cost of?
The cost of the EV vehicle, it should be affordable.
Okay, affordable EVs. Okay, this is happening today also. Now you could go buy a Ola. The only difference is that it'll work or not tomorrow. It's a different thing.
No, actually, the current scenario, it is in a booming. It means a new thing. So
Yeah.
on the basis of that, the price is very high as compared to the IC engine. The EV vehicles are having a high cost. Na?
Yeah, but you have cheaper options than IC engine vehicles also, is what I'm trying to say. You would get an EV for 50,000 also, you'll get a EV for 80,000 also. That's
But what about the brand?
Yeah, so you want branded EVs is what you affordable branded EVs? Right? Okay. That is a reasonable ask. That makes sense. Anybody else?
Sir, hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, he have to getting an solar system or a hybrid vehicle, sir.
So you want a hybrid vehicle? You don't want to?
Solar system, he have to does not use the battery. He have to solar or hybrid vehicle, sir.
Understood. So basically, yeah, that's what somebody else said, no? That it should run on free energy.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So all the services.
So why not about supply assisting in charging facility at home only? With that runs on renewable.
Sorry, can you come again? It was not.
This is assistance for setting up the charging facility that runs on renewable at home.
Okay, that is quite sensible. Yeah, that's a very good point. Setting up renewable charging station.
Yeah, at home.
At home. Cool. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. There's another business scenario which could be explored.
So all the services in our mobile phone in one app.
Yeah. So what do you say? Services via app. Cool.
Yes.
All right. So we can just conclude it over here. A lot of things, a lot of points, a lot of ideas discussed. But I just want to close the session over here and open it up for questions and all. Just trying to understand what a lot of different aspirations or what you are seeking from future EV experiences. Right. At the end of the day, if you are running an EV, it should not stop, and that is where all EV comes in. We support businesses to provide the highest, what do you say, the lowest turnaround time for ensuring this uptime of the vehicle on the road. And we work with different companies, whether it is the vehicle rentals or companies that use vehicles, EVs for delivering their goods. So, for example, Domino's or different retail markets and all. So we support them in servicing their vehicles and providing them other services. So that is where PolyV falls in. And this has been quite an interactive session. Thank you guys for giving your inputs. And yep, that's about it from my end. I hope you guys have some questions or some queries. I
Or market for future.
Sorry.
Hello. Is nuclear battery is accountable or not for future EV technology?
See, nuclear battery again. This is also in a lot of research stage at the moment. See again, as it is for EV batteries, recycling is quite a hassle. It's quite polluting, and when you're dealing with radioactive substances and using in public areas, although the energy is clean, definitely, that is a bigger question to be asked. See, again, you have to look back at the whole product life cycle. So, how are you going to dispose of the nuclear waste? Today, if you have to dispose of the nuclear waste, which is generated from the nuclear reactors generating large electricity and all, it is disposed of in deep trenches under the ocean. So this is a long-term question that we would have to ask. Even if there is adoption of technology, how are we going to?
Harshin sir, I have a question.
Sure.
Sir, the EV companies are not disclosing the technologies, the EV buses and EV car companies.
Yeah.
In India.
They're not what?
They are not disclosing their technologies, EV technologies in India.
They are not disclosing.
Yes, sir.
Could you be a bit more accurate in what?
Like the PDUs, the ECUs, the Tata is using the Siemens. They are not disclosing the technology to the public. They are just.
Okay, I understood. So basically, a lot of the CAN communications of these control units, they're not being disclosed, and communication protocols are not being disclosed. Is what you're mentioning, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. This is also a concern because in IC engine vehicles, for a very long time, Bosch was the leader, right? So they had these master diagnostic tools and all, and through that you could actually service these vehicles. So this is also another space where, because again there is no standardization in the charging protocols, there's no standardization in the battery BMS protocols, or the vehicle control unit protocols, and so on and so forth. So there is still a lot of space for such devices to be made where it could get integrated, or you would be able to read the diagnostic or the fault codes and all. Okay, so this is also another interesting space where even the government of India is trying to standardize the battery swapping protocols and the charging protocols. Soon there will be some directives which will be launched by the government where we'll be standardizing some part of it. But again, a lot of this data will still be the property of the OEMs. So we'd have to wait and watch if such things are going to get standardized or accessed.
So we have some charging stations which are like non-standardized, right? Which are also causing damage to the batteries. So what is your take on that?
There is again, damage to batteries is subjective, because see, again, charging infrastructure, any kind of infrastructure would require maintenance. And then what happens is that every company is having their own proprietary charger, or the charger type. Like for example, Ether uses the LCEC, light electric vehicle charging system, or Ola uses another system. The same way goes for there's a lot of companies have their own charging systems and protocols. So that is where again the government is trying to come in and trying to standardize these systems. But at the same time, what is happening is again, like how we have the slow charging and the fast charging systems. There is a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of the charging infrastructure also, because there have been numerous such cases where, because of poor wiring in the building, there had been a lot of fire hazard cases as well. So a lot of these standardizations will come in play. A lot of companies have also started integrating all these apps showing which charger is what is the fault code in chargers and all. There is one particular startup which has made an AI tool where you could ask that AI tool on your WhatsApp, and then it'll tell you whether that charging system, the charging infrastructure over there is working or not, whether it's occupied and so on. So there's a lot of work happening in this space, but again, it is still rudimentary. So there are still a lot of things that need to be done.
Okay, so this was about like those which meet the regulations, but they're not maintained, right? I meant like the third-party ones which don't at all meet the regulations, but they are set up.
Yeah. So again, one thing is having regulations, and the other thing is enforcing those regulations. Okay. For example, just an insight. You have a lot of low-speed scooters in the market. Okay. Many of these scooters are not authorized by ARAI or ICAT, and they're still running on the road. Okay. So it also boils down to how much enforcement can we do in the market also. So that is the reason where the customer becomes the person who bears the brunt of all these things. So again, there's a lot of things that need to be enforced. Yeah.
I mean, like if they're running, it doesn't mean like they're illegal. It's illegal.
Okay.
Without regulations, they're running, right? So.
Yeah, I mean that is what. No, there is no enforcement that could be done. So a lot of systems are there out there, but it's a risk.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else, or we could conclude the session here.
Sir, I just have the last question.
Sure.
Sir, actually, I am running a Mahindra Car Service Center, and I want to learn the EV service maintenance technology.
Okay.
So I connected with some buses companies like Electra, PMI, and JBM. They told me to come and do job with a company that will disclose the technology.
Okay.
Then I've sent the resumes also, but they are not interested in giving the job also. So how could I learn these technologies, EV technologies, buses technologies, and car technologies?
See, essentially what will happen, there are two things over here. One is either you work for these companies or you get business to them in such a manner that they would be required to disclose the technology to you. So what happens, see, at All EV, what we do, so which Mahindra service center do you run?
Sir, I like Bolero, Scorpio, these four-wheelers.
Four-wheelers.
Passenger cars. Passenger cars.
Passenger cars, right? So it's an authorized service center or what?
No, it's not authorized. It's not authorized.
It's a third-party service center, right?
Yeah, it's a third-party service center, sir.
Right. So so even we are a third-party service center. But what we do is we associate with the brands in such a manner that we bring them customers and say that the customer is only willing to take the service or the product from them if the vehicle is serviced through us. because we have the maintenance contracts with them. Okay.
Okay.
So that is again, it purely goes how contractually you could bind the OEMs, because all the OEMs, especially now, because of the slow, there is a lot of growth issues in the automotive market. A lot of vehicles are stuck at the stockyards, and the automotive market is going through certain pressure. So if you are able to give them business, and then if you are able to corner them and say that only if you provide me this piece of the business, am I going to get you this business.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
That is how there is some sort of association that you would have to do. That is
Right,
only
sir.
when they will be able to partner with you.
Right, sir.
Or,
Got sir. Thank you, sir.
Or else you could always get in touch, but because all these see, I'm not so sure about the bus manufacturers because they do not have service centers as such. You would have to directly deal with the OEMs. But what these this is what I know from these fleet aggregators also. Basically, all these companies like Zip Electric and all, no? What they do is they ensure that they are doing the service of their vehicles, and they get the components, they get the know-how from the company, and they do the service on their own. They do not depend on the service center because they are trying to cut down the cost. Same goes with Blue Smart also. So they have their own. Blue Smart has a separate entity that does the servicing of the vehicles. It doesn't go and get done at the regular Tata Motor service.
Got it, sir. Got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. All right. I hope all your questions are asked, are answered, and we can close the session here. Lavisha, I hope you could take it forward from here.
Thank you, Harshin. Lavisha, I think Lavisha is not on the call.
All right, sure.
Thank you for sharing valuable insight with the participants. I'm confident that everyone has gained many new perspectives and learned a lot from your session.
Sure.
Thank you, Harshin. If anyone has any query left, please reach out to us through a mail, and we will revert your queries. Okay, I've already shared details to connect us in the chat box, so feel free to reach us. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining the session.
Yeah, sure. And if you guys are looking forward to connect with me, you could connect with me on LinkedIn as well. And yep. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.